The front door slammed behind me like a gunshot in the storm, the echo swallowed by the relentless downpour that had turned our quiet Seattle suburb into a drowned world. I stood there, 22 years old and utterly alone, my backpack slung over one shoulder, soaked through in seconds, as if the sky itself was weeping for the family I'd just lost. "You're no son of mine," Dad's voice roared in my head, those words sharper than any knife, cutting deeper than the cold rain lashing my skin. I stumbled down the porch steps, the world blurring into sheets of gray, my heart pounding like it might burst right out of my chest. How had it come to this? One moment, I'd been confessing over dinner, hoping stupidly for understanding, and the next, he was on his feet, face twisted in rage, hurling my secret back at me like it was poison. Mom just sat there, silent as the grave, her eyes darting away as if I were already a ghost. The rain hammered harder, turning the sidewalk into a river, and I had nowhere to go. No plan, no money, just the ache of betrayal gnawing at my gut. That's when I saw him. A stranger emerging from the mist like some reluctant guardian angel. His leather jacket slick with water, holding an umbrella that did little against the gale. He paused under the street lamp's hazy glow, those dark eyes locking onto mine with a mix of pity and something fiercer. Recognition, maybe. "Hey!" he called over the roar, voice steady as an anchor. "You look like you could use a dry spot." His name was Vincent, he told me later, as he draped his jacket over my shoulders and led me to his beat-up Ford pickup idling at the curb. I didn't question it. Hell, I barely spoke, my teeth chattering from the chill that had seeped into my bones. The cab smelled like pine air freshener and old coffee, a small mercy in the chaos. He cranked the heat, blasted it full force, and handed me a thermos of something hot and black. "Name's Vincent Reyes," he said, glancing at me sidelong as he pulled away from the curb. "Saw the whole thing from across the street. Rough night to be out here." I nodded, clutching the thermos like a lifeline, steam rising in curls that fogged the windshield. "Nathan," I managed, my voice cracking.
"Nathan Hale."
And yeah, you could say that. The wipers slapped rhythmically, a metronome to my unraveling life. Vincent didn't pry, not right away. He just drove, the city lights smearing into neon streaks through the rain-streaked glass. We ended up at a diner on the edge of Capitol Hill, the kind of place with vinyl booths cracked from years of secrets and greasy spoons. He bought me pancakes, stacked high with butter and syrup, because nothing fixes a shitstorm like carbs. And for the first time that night, I felt the knot in my chest loosen just a fraction. Over the next hour, as the storm raged outside the fogged windows, I spilled it all. The confession at the dinner table, Dad's face draining of color before exploding into fury. "Faggot," he'd spat, the word landing like a slap. Mom's whispered, "Please, John," drowned out by his tirade about shame, about the family name, about how I'd chosen this to spite him. I'd packed a bag on autopilot, his bellows chasing me down the hall. "Get out and don't come back." And now here I was, homeless in the rain, my entire world reduced to a duffel of clothes and a phone battery at 12%. Vincent listened, his fork pausing midair, those sharp brown eyes never leaving my face. He was older, maybe 28, with a jawline shadowed by stubble and tattoos peeking from his shirt cuffs, the kind that spoke of hard miles and harder choices. A mechanic by trade, he said, fixing rigs at a shop in Fremont. Grew up in East LA before chasing dreams up the I-5 to Seattle, where the rain matched his mood. "My old man was the same," he admitted finally, pushing his plate aside. "Kicked me out at 16 for kissing a boy behind the bleachers. Thought I'd earned it, you know? Like loving who you love is a crime." His words hung there, simple and raw, bridging the chasm between us. I stared at him, the diner's fluorescent hum buzzing in my ears. You're gay? Out?" He just shrugged, a half-smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah, been there, kid. It's a bitch, but it doesn't end in the rain." He slid a 20 across the table for the bill, then added, "Crash at my place tonight. No strings. Got a couch that's seen worse." I hesitated, stranger danger screaming in my head. But what choice did I have? The alternative was a bus bench or worse. So I followed him back into the night, the rain easing to a drizzle as we crossed the bridge into Ballard. where the shipping cranes loomed like skeletal giants against the sound. His apartment was above a tattoo parlor, a third-floor walk-up with creaky stairs and walls thin enough to hear the neighbor's TV laugh tracks. It smelled like motor oil and fresh laundry, cluttered with tools, dog-eared paperbacks, and a guitar leaning in the corner like a forgotten friend. The couch was lumpy, but dry, and Vincent tossed me a blanket that still held the faint scent of his cologne. Something woodsy and warm. "Get some shut-eye," he said from the doorway of his room. "Tomorrow we figure it out. You're not alone in this." Alone. That word echoed as I lay there, staring at the water-stained ceiling, the rain pattering like distant applause. For the first time since the door slammed, I believed it might be true. Morning broke gray and unforgiving, the kind of Seattle dawn that tricks you into thinking summer's a myth. I woke to the sizzle of bacon and the rich aroma of coffee brewing, Vincent already up and humming some old Springsteen tune under his breath. He slid a plate my way, eggs over easy, toast charred just right, and we ate at the tiny formica table, the silence comfortable now, broken only by the clink of forks. "So," he said eventually, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, "what's the plan, Nathan? You got family elsewhere? Job lined up?" I shook my head, shame creeping in like fog off the water. I'd been a barista at a hole-in-the-wall coffee shop in U District, saving for community college, dreaming of graphic design classes. But Dad's garage, where I'd helped out summers since I was 14, was gone now, along with the roof over my head. "Nothing," I admitted. "I mean, there's my aunt in Portland, but she and Dad don't talk. And friends? They know, sorta, but coming out to them feels, I don't know, like begging." Vincent leaned back, chair creaking under his weight. "Pride's a luxury when you're soaked to the bone. But okay, step one, job. I can talk to my boss at the shop. They need a parts runner. Nothing fancy. Pays cash under the table till you sort your papers." His eyes softened, that fierce edge from last night replaced by something gentler. "Step two, you stay here. As long as you need. Rent-free till you're on your feet." "Why?" The word burst out before I could stop it. Raw and suspicious. Strangers didn't do this, not in America, land of the self-made grind, where every handout came with strings. He chuckled, low and rueful, rubbing the back of his neck. "Because I remember 16, remember? Curled up in a Greyhound station, wondering if I'd ever stop feeling like trash. Some dude, bartender type, slipped me a 20 and a burger. Said, 'Pay it forward, kid.' Figure this is me cashing in." I swallowed hard, the eggs turning to lead in my stomach. Gratitude warred with the fresh bruise of betrayal. Dad's face flashing in my mind, that final shove toward the door. "Thanks," I whispered. I don't know how to repay you." "Don't," he said simply. "Just don't let the bastards win." And with that, he grabbed his keys, tossing me a spare set. "Shop's on Leary Way. Meet me there at noon." The day blurred into a haze of motion. I showered in his tiny bathroom, the hot water scalding away the night's grime, steam curling like ghosts on the mirror. His shampoo smelled like him, citrus and sage, and for a stupid second, I lingered, imagining hands that weren't my own running through my hair. "Shake it off, Nathan." He was a lifeline, not a crush. By noon, I was at the auto shop, a cavernous space reeking of rubber and exhaust, where grease monkey legends were born. Vincent's boss, a burly ex-Marine named Rico, sized me up with a squint. "Kid looks like he could lift a tire without crying. Start today. $10 an hour, plus tips if you don't fuck up." I didn't fuck up. The work was grunt labor, hauling parts, scrubbing tools, fetching coffee for the old-timers. But it beat the void. Vincent showed me the ropes between oil changes, his hands sure and calloused, explaining torque wrenches like they were poetry. "Feel that resistance? That's the heart of the machine," he'd say, and I'd nod, mesmerized not just by the lesson but by the way his forearms flexed, veins mapping stories I wanted to trace. Evenings became ritual. Takeout from the Thai place down the block, sprawled on the couch with whatever was on Netflix. Mostly indie flicks about misfits finding their tribe. We talk, tentative at first, then deeper. He shared stories of Ella sunsets bleeding into ocean, the drag of coming out in a house where machismo was gospel. "Mom cried for weeks," he said one night, nursing a beer. Dad? Pretended I was dead. Haven't spoken since. I mirrored it back. The pressure of being the good son. Straight A student hiding crushes on the soccer captain. The terror of that dinner table bomb dropping. There was a spark, undeniable, flickering in stolen glances, in the brush of shoulders passing in the narrow kitchen. But Vincent kept it leashed, respectful, like he knew I was still raw. Until the night of the storm's anniversary, 3 weeks to the day Dad had exiled me. I'd scored my first paycheck, a crisp 50 in my pocket, and insisted on cooking. Spaghetti from a box, sauce from a jar, but it was mine. We ate by candlelight, power flicker from a squall, and the wine, cheap red from the corner store, loosened tongues. "You're tougher than you think," he said, twirling pasta on his fork, eyes reflecting the flame. "Most guys would have crumbled." I laughed, bitter. Crumble? I feel like I'm held together with spit and spite. The words tumbled out then, the dam breaking. The call from Mom that afternoon, her voice a whisper on the voicemail. "Nathan, honey, your father misses you. He's sorry. Come home." Sorry? After the slurs, the silence? My phone had burned in my hand, deleted before I could respond. Vincent set his glass down, slow. "And, fuck him." I spat, but tears betrayed me, hot and unbidden. He reached across the table, thumb brushing my knuckles. Electric, tentative. "Hey, you don't owe him your soul." Our hands stayed linked, the air thickening, charged like the storm outside. When he leaned in, it was inevitable, his lips soft against mine, tasting of salt and Merlot. The kiss deepened, hands roaming with the hunger of the starved. But he pulled back first, breath ragged. "We don't have to." "We do," I whispered, pulling him closer. That night, tangled in his sheets, it wasn't about lust. It was reclamation. Body speaking what words couldn't. "You are seen, you are wanted, you are enough." Dawn found us wrapped in each other, the rain a gentle underscore to our quiet breaths. But hope's a fragile thing, and betrayal lurks in the shadows. It came 2 weeks later, on a crisp October afternoon when the leaves turned the streets to fire. I'd settled into a rhythm. Classes at the community college 2 nights a week, sketching logos in stolen margins, Vincent's steady presence the axis I spun around. We were good, real good. Lazy Sundays with his acoustic guitar strumming Dylan covers. Walks along the locks where salmon leaped like promises. Then the text from an old high school buddy, Tyler, "Dude, saw this online. Your dad's on the local news. Check it." Curiosity overrode caution. I pulled up the clip on my phone during lunch break at the shop. There he was, John Hale, grease-streaked flannel, standing outside our old garage, mic in hand for some human interest spot on King 5. "Family's everything," he intoned, eyes misty for the camera. "I lost my way, pushed away the ones I love. But pride? That's the real poison. I'm reaching out now to my son wherever he is. Nathan, come home. We can fix this." The world tilted. Lies, polished for public consumption. The comments flooded in. "What a stand-up guy. Forgiveness starts at home." My stomach roiled. I bolted to the alley behind the shop, retching into a dumpster. Vincent found me there, slumped against the brick, phone clutched like a grenade. "Babe." His voice pulled me up, arms enveloping as I sobbed out the video. He watched it twice, jaw clenching with each word. "That's not sorry. That's damage control." But doubt wormed in. Mom's earlier plea, now this spectacle. Was I the villain, stubborn and unforgiving? That night, I confronted the mirror in Vincent's bathroom, tracing the hollows under my eyes. What if he's changed? I whispered to my reflection. Vincent, overhearing from the hall, shook his head. Change doesn't happen on TV. It happens in the quiet, when no one's clapping. Still, the seed took root. I called Mom the next day, voice steady as rebar. Saw Dad's show. He's serious. Her pause stretched eternal. He means it, Nathan. Therapy, the works. Please. Therapy. The word dangled like bait. Against Vincent's quiet warnings, don't let him reel you back in. I agreed to meet. Neutral ground. A park in Green Lake, benches under maples shedding crimson confetti. Dad arrived early, looking smaller somehow. Flannel rumpled, hands twisting a paper cup. Son, he started, voice gravel. I've been a fool. Lost you over. Fear. My fear. The words I'd craved, but they landed flat, rehearsed. We talked haltingly of my struggles, his journey to understanding. No apologies for the rain, the slurs, but promises. A room waiting, college funds reinstated. Family heals, he said, eyes pleading. I wanted to believe. God, I did. So I went home. Just for dinner, I told myself. Just to test the waters. Vincent drove me, silent fury radiating like heat from the dash. Call if it's shit, he said at the curb, kiss fierce and fleeting. I'm right here. The house hadn't changed. Same faded wallpaper, same clock ticking judgment. Mom hugged me fierce, tears soaking my shirt. Dad clapped my shoulder. Awkward. But there. Dinner was pot roast, the air thick with unspoken. Then Tyler showed, invited, I learned later, as support. My old friend, the one who'd known my secret since sophomore year, now beaming like a salesman. Bro, so glad you're back. Dad's right, family first. It unraveled over pie. Tyler, buzzed on wine, clapped my back too hard. Remember that time we joked about you and the prom king? Ah, kid stuff. Dad's laugh boomed, but his eyes flicked, wary. I excused myself to the porch, the chill nipping at old wounds.
Tyler followed, slurring, smon, nat.
Lighten up. Your dad's bending over backward here. Bending. The word ignited. He threw me out. In the rain. Like garbage. Tyler shrugged, eyes glassy. Yeah, well, he was pissed. But you're good now, right? With that mechanic dude? Looked cozy in your Insta stories. My blood froze. Insta. I'd posted nothing explicit. Just a shadow of us at the locks. But there it was. Betrayal, small and sharp. Tyler's casual slip revealing he'd been watching, judging, reporting back. Inside, voices rose. Dad's, probing. Who's this Vincent? Some phase. Mom's hush, Tyler's eager echo. The pieces clicked. The therapy. The news spot, Tyler's invite. A setup. Not reconciliation. A reclamation. To fix me before the neighbors whispered too loud. I burst in, chair scraping. This was staged. All of it. Dad's face hardened. The mask cracking.
Nathan, sit.
We're talking.
No.
I grabbed my keys, heart thundering. You don't get to script my life. Tyler stammered. Dude, chill. But I shoved past, out into the night. The door slamming echo of that rainy 1 month back. The drive to Vincent's was a blur, tears blurring taillights. He was waiting on the stoop, porch light haloing him like absolution. Knew it, he murmured, pulling me into his chest. Fuck him. We stood there, rain starting again, soft now, cleansing. As I confessed the trap, the sting of Tyler's knife. Vincent's arms tightened, a vow in the squeeze. You're mine now, not theirs. But the climax brewed darker. Days later, a letter arrived certified from Dad's lawyer. Eviction notice? No, a cease and desist, claiming Vincent's influence was undue. Demanding I cut ties or face a conservatorship battle. Protecting you from radicals. The note read, Dad's scrawl at the bottom. Panic clawed. Legal fees I couldn't afford, college dreams dangling. Vincent read it stone-faced, then crumpled it. Bullshit power play. We fight. But fear gnawed. What if they won? Dragged me back to conversion camps, whispers of cure? Sleepless nights bled into arguments. Me pacing, him steady. Run. I whispered once, half joking. He cupped my face.
No.
We stand. The storm broke at the family court hearing. A sterile box in downtown Seattle. Fluorescent hell. Dad sat ramrod. Lawyer shark-suited beside him. Mom absent. Her apologies via text. He's scared. Nathan. Tyler? Nowhere, ghosted after my call-out. Vincent flanked me, our public defender a harried queer ally from the clinic. Testimonies flew. Dad's grief-stricken pleas. My disorientation, post-incident. Then Vincent. Calm. Unflinching. Testifying to my stability, our life woven tight. But the betrayal's gut punch came from the judge's recess. A sidebar whisper from the bailiff, eyes pitying. Your mom's in the hall. Says to tell you. She hopes you understand. Understand? I stormed out, finding her huddled by vending machines, tissue-wadded eyes. Mom! She flinched. Nathan, please. Your father's breaking. This Vincent. He's not family. Not family. The words eviscerated. Neither are you, I choked. Not anymore. She reached, but I recoiled, storming back in as the judge reconvened. Climax hit like thunder. My turn on the stand. Voice steady at first, unraveling into truth. He threw me out, called me abomination. Now he wants control, because I'm happy, loved. Sobs cracked me, but I pressed on. The rain, the diner, Vincent's hand in the dark. That's family, not blood. Choice. The courtroom hushed. Dad's face crumpled, not rage but ruin. The judge, a silver-haired woman with kind creases, ruled swift. Petition denied. Restraining order on interference. Young man, she said, eyes meeting mine. Build your table. Invite who deserves a seat. Outside, rain lashed again. But Vincent's kiss was sunbreak. Fierce. Affirming. Dad lingered at the courthouse steps. Mom beside him. Faces ashen. No words, just a nod from him, small, seismic. Respect. Maybe. Hope flickered. Fragile as first light. Months wove us tighter. Christmas came quiet. A tree from the lot, strung with thrift store lights. Vincent's gift, a leather-bound sketchbook. For the stories you'll tell. Mine. A custom guitar pick, engraved pay it forward. We volunteered at the youth center, sharing rain-soaked tales to wide-eyed kids, turning scars to beacons. Spring bloomed, and with it a call. Not from Mom but Dad. Voicemail halting. Saw your exhibit downtown. The posters. Powerful.
Pro, son.
If you'll let me. The sketch show, my first, designs for a queer nonprofit, had drawn a crowd, Vincent beaming from the front row. I played it for him that night, rain pattering like applause. Go? He asked, no judgment. We did. Dinner at a neutral bistro, awkward forks clinking. Dad older, lines etched deeper. Therapy's teaching me, he said. Hate's heavy. Let it go. No full absolution, just steps. Mom's hug lingered. Tears mutual. We love you, as you are. Betrayal's echo faded. Not gone, but softened. Vincent and I built anyway. A studio apartment in Capitol Hill, walls alive with my art, his records spinning soul. Weddings weren't legal yet in every heart, but ours was vowed in quiet. Rings from a pawn shop, exchanged under the lock's spray. America's a patchwork, flawed, fierce. We stitched our square. Hope from the drowned, respect from the ruins. And in the rain's silver song, I found home. Not in blood, but in the stranger who'd walked in and stayed. The front door slammed behind me like a gunshot in the storm. The echo swallowed by the relentless downpour that had turned our quiet Seattle suburb into a drowned world. I stood there, 22 years old and utterly alone. My backpack slung over one shoulder, soaked through in seconds, as if the sky itself was weeping for the family I'd just lost. You're no son of mine, Dad's voice roared in my head. Those words sharper than any knife, cutting deeper than the cold rain lashing my skin. I stumbled down the porch steps, the world blurring into sheets of gray, my heart